This is the most important member of the Smokey Brights family. This is Tiny. He has horrendously crossed eyes.
Hi everyone, I'm Serafima. I'm here chatting with Smokey Brights, Kim and Ryan, during this quarantine time. Thank you so much, you guys, for chatting with us. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Oh, well, thank you for having us, Serafima. My name is Kim West.
I'm Ryan Devlin, and we play in Smokey Brights,
Yes,
along with a guy named Nick, who plays the drums,
and
a guy named Luke, who plays the bass.
Nice. So, you guys have been putting out a lot of music. Can you tell me what it's like to be an artist right now and putting out music?
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting moment for us. Like, we are in the process of releasing a record right now. It's called I Love You But Damn. Initially, it was slated for release next Friday, which would have been
May 15th.
May 15th.
Yeah.
We've spent, I don't know, the last like 2 years working on this thing, you know, from demoing in our, you know, bedroom and basement to working these up to really like just recording the most fun, beatable record we could. The plan was to, you know, put this thing out in May. We were going to go down to South by Southwest and Treefort Music Fest and do a bunch of other dates. Once the record dropped, we were going to have a big release show at Numos and go on tour for a while.
Yeah.
And, you know, just lots of energies and plans around that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was actually the day we played KUGS
With Acid Tongue.
And we first met you, Serafima, that we found out that South by Southwest was canceling. And that felt like such a devastating blow. We're like, no, we have several good shows at this crazy festival, and we were going to meet some people and see old friends. So, you know, the initial blows to these things getting canceled or moved is, you know, it always hurts.
But they happened a while ago at this point.
Yeah, and like now, several months into this, man, everything's canceling. And, you know, this affects so much more than Kim and Ryan or Smokey Brights or Seattle music or music in general or the United States. So this affects, you know, pretty much every human being on planet Earth. So now the focus is kind of reshifting to like, let's put this out. We can't tour on it. It might not be in record stores. All those kind of things that we were planning on helping to lift our baby up won't be there. But what remains is the fact that we made a piece of recorded music, a piece of art that we're really, really in love with, and we really hope that it brings people some joy, some salve, something to look forward to, something to dance to in this kind of down moment. So that's the grand scope. It's all capable, but we're still doing it.
Totally. No, I love that. That's well said. I especially hear you on the dancing thing, though. I've been turning that on and dancing to it. So.
Oh, good.
It's awesome. Yeah.
I've been success then
already doing its job.
Yeah. Was it on a KXP podcast weekly thing? I was looking this morning and I saw they released a podcast.
Yes. Yeah. So we just got news that we were on the Evie and two other DJs put together.
Evie, Michelle Myers, and one other DJ. If I had my thing up, I could look. They put together a Mother's Day podcast,
which is so it's all about creation and rebirth, and so they included "I Love You But Damn," which is the title track for that record,
which is big honor.
Yeah, huge honor.
And we just got word that I Love You But Damn, the same track, which is the title track off the record, and it's up now. That'll be Song of the Day on KXP next Friday.
Yay, congrats, you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, which is also the day we were originally going to release the record, so it feels like the universe being like, it's okay, here you go.
Little spoonfuls of goodness.
Exactly.
It'll still getting out there.
Definitely. So I'm curious, like, what you guys think like this is going to do for Seattle music?
That's a great question. I mean, that is kind of to be seen, and that's sort of one of the scarier parts, because while, you know, we are musicians and we love making music and we won't stop making music regardless of whether there's a pandemic or whatever happens, it's really hard to make an industry work without the infrastructure there. And the reality is, when we come out of this, so many of our beloved music venues are not going to reopen. And that's a huge tragedy. That's a loss of people's jobs. That's a loss of community. It's a loss of culture. So, I do think that that is going to be something we really need to watch and be aware of, is that, the music industry and culture and creativity and those sorts of things, they need those central places. And we just have to work to make sure that we have those central places once we all come out of our respective caves at the end of the lockdown.
Definitely. Yeah. Are you guys aware of any current support that's going on that anyone can get involved with, musicians or listeners or any music lovers?
You should talk about.
Yeah, I do. So I sit on the board for a very awesome nonprofit in Seattle called the Vera Project. It's an all ages art space, screen printing studio, recording studio. We do teaching. We do, internship sort of paths, career paths to getting into the music industry. And during this pandemic, our executive director has done this really incredible revision to our programming. And there's a coalition of music venues. There's one that's nationwide. There's one that's Washington-wide. And now Vera has started one that is DIY venue-wide. So it's just for the venues that they're just not going to get any funding anywhere else.
Yeah.
They're not traditional enough, let's say that, to get venues, to get funding and revenue through traditional channels. So Vera is actually serving as this sort of almost a grant service for DIY venues who can apply to Vera, and then we will be providing raising funds and helping to distribute funds to venues that don't have any other way to survive. So that's a great resource. Artist Trust has also been a phenomenal resource for artists, as has Music Cares.
For culture.
For culture.
Yeah.
There's lots of,
there's some do-good nonprofits out there looking out for the best interests of our little arts community, but it's going to be a long path,
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm seeing a lot of music venues and things like that putting out support things. So that's cool to hear. I hadn't heard about the Vera Project thing yet, which is that's amazing. I didn't know you were on the board for that, though. That's really cool.
Yeah. He's the vice president. No big deal.
What? Kim, okay, you guys, not only is Kim that, but she's also a lawyer. Can you believe that? Wow, it's like insane. That is so cool. Yeah, no, that's really interesting. So then, I'm sure you guys are super familiar. Lots of artists are doing like the live streams and types of concerts like that. How do you guys feel about those? I've heard a lot of mixed things, and I'm curious to see from your perspective.
Yeah, that is, it's been a new reality. I guess it was almost, there was a little bit of mania in our household when this thing first hit, because it was like we were dealing with the new reality that our entire tour plans and our entire money-making plans for the next 3 months at least, probably a year, are completely disrupted. And at the same time, people were like, are you going to do a free live stream of your music while you're feeling this just soul-crushing defeat? Come on. At some point, we'll do that. So I think now, at least personally, we've been able to process now, and we've more gone, rather than the live stream, we're really focusing on recording songs, performances, us two in our house, Luke and Nick in their respective houses, and combining them into one performance video. So then we can make sure the audio is really good for people, because that's been something that's been hard. I mean, obviously, like watching a KEXP live stream, like I watched the Laura Marling one, and it sounded incredible, but we don't have the ability to do quite that level of audio in our home. So it's been, I think that's more what we're doing, is sort of pre-preparing videos for people and saying, here's what we have to offer.
Yeah, and like beyond that, we're looking ahead to putting out this record. We're probably not going to be able to go on tour to put out this record, or even have a big blowout hometown throwdown release show with all our friends and the people that worked on this record.
Yeah.
So one thing that we are starting to put into motion is thinking about like a series of concerts that we'll record digitally and the loose plan is to announce 5 shows throughout the week when it comes out, and then we'll go to great studios that we love and record just really intentional sets. Maybe each one has a different kind of band, an acoustic one with horns, one with other guest
all
artists.
Very preliminary planning right now, but we're just thinking creatively of how to still create an exciting experience for people who love Smokey Brights or might not even know Smokey Brights, but want some sort of fun, different online experience in the midst of the weirdest and most disruptive thing any of us have ever gone through.
Yeah. No, definitely. That's really cool. I like the intentionality behind that. Yeah. I know I've tuned into a couple live streams and I'm like, it's glitchy and I can sort of hear what song it is. So
yeah, that's a part of it too, has been as an artist, my my news feed on all my social media channels are mostly, fellow musicians and other people that work in this industry. There's so many people that immediately just started broadcasting from their home live every day. And I think that for a lot of those people is a very necessary part of their process. Of continue to have worth and a path in the world. And for me, I was freaking out, being am I supposed to be doing that? I can barely comprehend what's happening. I can't put on.
You saw what it took to set up the Zoom call and get it working.
Oh, that's funny. No.
And the people that have been just immediately shifting. We are trying to shift in a way that maintains our values, an authentic experience, and it sounds good and it feels good. And it's something we need. So we'll get there.
Wow, I love that. That is really it's really heartwarming to hear. I love that a lot. I am curious what you guys are listening to these days. What's getting you through this?
There's been, that has been actually something that's been really amazing, is there are still musicians putting records out, and that was sort of what we were thinking of when we were maybe we should wait until next year to put the record out. It's no, people need music right now. And I've been loving so many records that have been coming out. For me, probably Laura Marling's newest record, Song for Our Daughter, is just incredible. That's been on my...
Listening to the new Fiona Apple record a lot, which is just...
So angry.
Wild and angry.
So
and couldn't be...
And I dig her vibe too, of her record label being we're definitely putting this out in the pandemic. She's no, I'm definitely putting this out right now, whenever I want to, however I want to. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I think there was a span of time where I think all I could listen to was either islandy Jamaican music or African music, just because it's such a kind of ever unfolding static chill, it's music you're supposed to kind of vibe to. So a lot of dub and reggae and African psych too.
Also the new Waxahachie record.
So good.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah.
Yes, you like that?
Lilacs is one of my favorite songs now. I just can't.
Oh, okay, that's cool. It'd be cool to get playlists from everyone to see what their quarantine playlists.
Actually,
we just put one out.
Oh my god, no way!
Freak Out Records, our fabulous independent record label that puts us out. They're doing, a bunch of artists are doing their quarantine playlists, and ours just came out I think yesterday. So,
oh my god, you gotta send me the link to that. That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Wow. You ask and you shall receive.
I want you to send us a playlist of what you're digging right now too.
Oh, I will. I totally will. I was just spending time with my family, and it threw me back into the amazing world of the Grateful Dead. So that was really nice.
Similar islandy music.
Exactly. It's just you're there for the ride. No, that's really cool. So then one of my last questions for you guys is, this is something that I've just been asking everyone in general, is what weird habits have you picked up during quarantine, if any in particular? I've seen people eating bagels with Cheez-Its on top of them.
I wouldn't say
6 hours a day.
Yeah, I mean, something that has developed is that we are taking tequila shots. Like, not a lot, just one on a Friday night, one on a Saturday night, just a way to like kick off the weekend, like some way to make an actual division between the week and the weekend. And so we've been
put on the champs tequila. Just crank it,
yeah,
and just cut up a lime and like 2 shots of tequila, and then go on a walk, play music, or just do whatever. But it's like, man,
it's been a lot of tequila shots and then long walks.
Yeah. big walks, really into like bird noises and sounds.
Yeah, like, nature sounds amazing right now, I have to say.
Yeah. Are you guys enjoying the sun?
Yes.
Yeah, we just got back from a little camping overnight.
Yeah, that's nice.
First night
away from the house
in 3 months, so that feels
it's impressive. Cool, you guys. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. Is there any last thing you'd like to say to the people out there?
Hang in there, be good to each other, support each other. We're here for you. We're gonna put out this record, I Love You But Damn, in early July 10th. And we put a lot of love and intention into it, and if you hear a track on KGS, that's awesome. Just come check it out if you can. But more than anything, just be good to each other.
And also thank you to everyone who is still working and still making the world go around, feeding us, taking care of our emergencies, delivering our mail, all of that. So we're gonna get through it. It's gonna be weird, but we're gonna get through it.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, you guys. Again, this is Kim and Ryan from Smokey Brights. You guys, thank you so much. And I look forward to your quarantine playlist.